Welcome back to the channel. At the beginning of last week, Dodge released the 2023 Challenger Demon 170, and this car is completely nuts. It makes 1,025 horsepower and 945 foot-pounds of torque. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 1.66 seconds, and while doing so, you're pulling 2 Gs. That's crazy from a car that you could go down to your local dealership with $100,000 and then another $400,000 for the markup fee.
And let me tell you something. Let me just say, it's beautiful. Look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary.
And you can buy this car off the showroom floor. That's crazy to think about because 10 to 20 years ago, you were trying to make 800 horsepower on an LS or a 2JZ, and it was super unreliable. You would take these things to the drag strip or do street pulls, and you would be worrying if it was gonna throw a rod out the block because the tuning wasn't even there. Now Dodge has the tuning dialed in on this thing. It has huge 164 gallons per hour injectors, which I think is around like 1,000 to 1,200 cc's, something around there. But it's just crazy to think a factory car comes with those big injectors. It also has a bunch of stuff done to the engine that the normal Hellcat, the old 2018 Demon, and the Red Eyes, and the Elephant engine just don't have. So Dodge literally went through this whole engine, upgraded everything that they could touch in it. So it has billet main caps. It also has new hardware for the head studs and main studs, which offer a lot more clamping force, which means you could run a whole lot more boost through a 3-liter supercharger with a 3-inch pulley and a big 105 mil throttle body. It's just crazy to think that these things are gonna be that fast on a prep surface. The only issue is that it is already banned from the NHRA, so that means you can't take one of these down to your local drag strip unless you put a parachute on the car and put a roll cage in it as well. Since most of the people that are gonna buy these cars are probably not gonna take them to the drag strip, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. But I think the people that option these cars out are gonna have Demons that are gonna be worth a lot of money. People are already putting $200,000 to $300,000, $400,000 down before even paying for the car to reserve them from the dealership just so they can get their hands on them. It's crazy to think about. Also, Dodge has made certain options for these Demon 170s very, very expensive, so you don't put the options in the car. Starting with a sunroof option, which is $10,000, and then an option I think should have just came on the car, which is carbon fiber wheels around $12,000, which just really makes sense. Carbon fiber wheels, usually if you start talking to a company that makes these wheels and you say that you're gonna be going down the drag strip or going over 150 miles an hour, they start to get afraid and they tell you not to purchase these carbon fiber wheels for your vehicle. It's amazing that Dodge made a 3-piece carbon fiber wheel to go on the Demons, and it's just crazy that it's gonna be super light. There's also options for the interior. The one option that most of these Demons are gonna come with is gonna just be a cloth driver's seat. And I'm guessing that it's gonna have a power seat rail because I've never seen a manual driver's side rail in a Dodge vehicle because I've looked for my Hellcat Magnum and there wasn't anything there. So if you wanna option your Demon out and actually get the Alcantara full interior, you could either get black Alcantara or you could get the red leather, and it's gonna cost you $6,000 extra. I think if I was going to purchase one of these Demons, I would completely option this car out with a sunroof, with full interior, with the parachute option, whatever Dodge has to offer, the carbon fiber wheels, because whoever options one of these Demon 170s completely out with everything, that car is going to be the most valuable Demon out there. Just because Dodge doesn't want you to have a sunroof and full interior, that is going to be the car that is going to be $1 million car one day. Even though people are already wanting to pay $500,000 for these cars. So it's going to be a good investment as long as Dodge doesn't go and do what they did to the Durango Hellcat owners, which is a whole nother story. Also, the paint colors for the Demon are pretty similar to Dodge's color combos for all the other Hellcats and Red Eye Challengers. They also have an option for a satin painted hood, which is $2,000, and it's not even the whole hood painted in satin. Or you could have the hood, the roof, and the deck lid painted, and it is $3,600, which is crazy because if you wanted to, you could go to a local body shop and they could spray your hood, roof, and deck lid for probably under $1,000. Like I said previously, whoever options these cars all the way out with everything that Dodge offers on them, these are going to be the most valuable demons out there. Another thing that I saw that was really confusing to me that they said about VIN numbers on the Demon. So if you had a 2018 Demon and you still own the vehicle, you could get your new Demon with the same exact VIN number. I'm not exactly sure how Dodge can do that, because wouldn't that mean it would be a 2018 VIN number?
What is that ringing?
It's just kind of confusing to me. I'm guessing it's something similar. Maybe it just has one digit that's off for the year, but that's just very weird that they did that, because to me, it seems weird. I don't think you could do that. I just never have heard a company that will match VIN numbers from your previous 2018 Demon so the VIN numbers match, unless I'm understanding it the wrong way, but it's just odd. Another thing that I thought was very comical about the Demon 170 is they have the stereo system, but it's 2-speaker audio. I don't even think they offer an option for the Harman Kardon stereo system on the Demon 170. Another thing that I thought was really cool is they have drag suspension on the car. So what I'm guessing they did was they used the same Bilstein active dampening struts, but then they updated the software in the active dampening module like you can get from a bunch of different tuners, and it really helps with the handling of the car. But it sounds like they did a bunch of extra engineering so it handles a lot better going down the drag strip, and pretty much all you have to do is slam down the gas and it will keep you in a straight line, which is crazy because a lot of people have issues controlling these really high horsepower cars because they go from a 300 horsepower, 200 horsepower Camry and they buy a 1,000 horsepower Demon. I'm sure they're not driving a Camry, but it's a good analogy. And then they just put it right into the cabbage and then the car is just totally destroyed. So hopefully that software that Dodge created for this car helps a lot of people keep these things under control and keep them in a straight line, because from experience, I have a few Hellcats and it is effort to keep them in a straight line, especially with the tires that come on the normal Hellcats and Red Eyes, which I don't know why they would put a 500 treadwear tire on a high performance car. I think the Scat Packs are the same thing too. It is wheel spin city. And I'm guessing the Demon is going to be the same exact thing because it is banned from the NHRA and all the drag strips. So it's going to be pretty much all of them are going to be street only. And it's going to be very interesting if any of the Car and Driver, any of those other media outlets can reproduce the numbers Dodge did on their drag strip to certify this car. And it's just going to be interesting to see because the last Demon, nobody was able to reproduce those numbers. And it's just really down to the prep of the track. So most tracks you go to, most drag strips, they really, they prep them good enough. Most of the time it is a hit and miss at the drag strip with the prep. So most of these Demons, I'm sure they're just going to see street only use. And it's going to be wheel spin city, which is fine because it's a lot of fun to bake these tires on these cars. This car is going to have the line lock, so you're not going to have to worry about overheating your rear brakes. But another thing that I'm kind of worried about is Dodge really hasn't done anything to the security system of any of these vehicles. And the Demons are going to be a huge target for people to steal. And this is an ongoing issue with Hellcats and Durango Hellcats and pretty much all Dodge products, where it's a really expensive car, they're really easy to steal, and you can pretty much part them out instantly if you're offering an engine for $15,000, it will most likely sell in a day. So hopefully Dodge did something to the security system, because some of these demons might see road use and might actually sit outside the garage and be driven on the track and actually be used as a vehicle, which is what they're supposed to be. Even though I do support people collecting cars, I know a certain percentage of them are going to see the street, and a certain percentage of them are going to see the cabbage and some walls and most likely be at the auction for sale. And I'm sure some of them are also going to catch on fire, because there's probably still that tranny thermostat in the transmission lines, which has blown up a lot of Hellcat and Trackhawk transmissions. And it is literally the first thing I delete on all of my Hellcats. Another really cool thing that I saw that they did to the Demon 170 was they put rear flares on the car, but they didn't put front flares on the front because they're not offering it as a full wide body. They're saying it's a staggered fitment, and it's only coming with the skinnier tires, the 8-inch wide wheels and tires in the front of the vehicle. So you're not going to be having that extra drag, because they're selling this as a drag car, even though it's banned from the drag strip. I can't reiterate that enough, but it's just kind of comical. I can't wait to see some of these out on the street at the drag strip, see what they can actually run on different prep surfaces on the street, see if they can actually beat a Tesla Plaid, because that is probably going to be the first component the Demon 170 sees, because a lot of people are very, very interested to see if that 1,025 horsepower will actually make it to the ground and not just be another Hellcat where it says it's 707 horsepower, but that's at the crank and it makes 645. Then you have the Demon 170 that is said to make 1,025 horsepower, but most likely might only make in the 900s, which is still a lot of power, don't get me wrong, but it's just one of those things where I like how Nissan does their power numbers. They tell you that you're going to get a car with 600 horsepower, and then it goes and makes 700 horsepower on the dyno. I don't know why some companies underrate their power numbers, and then some companies overinflate their power numbers. I have never understood it. But I'm going to end this video here. I'm super excited about the Demon 170. It's going to be crazy to see this thing actually perform at the track, on the streets, see what people race with this thing, see YouTube videos of other channels racing these vehicles, and we'll kind of go from there. If you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below what you think of the Demon 170, and as always, see you guys next time.